What could a Jason David Frank tribute episode really look like? Next up on Just the Talk, so let's talk about it. And welcome to the Flicks Picks and the Nitpicks, and I am your humble host, Note 718, and we're gonna get right to it. I asked myself recently after watching Once and Always, what could a Jason David Frank tribute episode really look like? And I don't know. I mean, after watching Once and Always, would they want to go to the well of passing it down and go via JJ like the comics is? And a lot of fans seem to want it. And the fact that they named the kid, they're trying to make it canon and give fans that idea that they could carry on the legacy of the Green Ranger through a son named JJ that's been written in comic form already. Or I think he'd been alluded to in the actual series at one point in some future episode, now to think about it. I think that's the first time they brought him up. Either way, would they go down that route? Or would they even bring in the actor Jason David Frank's daughter and really have her represent his daughter in the series and she carry on his legacy? That's another option. What could they really do? And I really thought about it because we've seen what they did with Trini and make Trini pass away on screen fighting. Would they want to show JDF go out like that? I think a lot of people would kind of want to, or maybe just have him kind of fade off into the sunset, if you will. But the thing is, it's hard to see him fade off because it'll be like, where would he go? You know what I mean? That he would need to just fade off. You know what I mean? So it's kind of really hard to really. Could they really use him like that? Make him kind of fade off or be caught in a certain way that he could come back as to help in a fight, but then he goes back away. In that respect, you don't really get to lose the character, and you could, you know what I mean, recycle his fighting and how he sounds fighting, dub the voice, may never take off the helmet, yeah, but you could do that. Maybe even deep fake certain things. Would that even be tasteful? I don't know. The way they've written him off in Once and Always, he's still in Aquitar with them, still trying to figure out how to get him back. And it was kind of very matter of fact that Cat didn't really, like, let me go back to JJ. Yeah, you gotta explain where his father is. Like, unless he just knows his father's a ranger. And even then, that gotta kind of fuck with him. Like, he's off to Aquitar to be, I guess, brought back to resuscitated, if you will. But it's an easy way to write him off. I mean, it's kind of as lame as a peace conference that I don't know why they needed teenagers to go, but they were gone for mad long. Like, you know what I'm saying? So what could you really want to do to further the story, further the narrative, or to end close the legend that is JDF, Jason David Frank, Tommy Oliver? How do you want to go about it? You know, I think that they need to lay the fuck off with him losing powers or something to that effect. But then again, he is gone, so I mean, they couldn't even really lean into that. You'd have to really kind of. He's already shrunk over there, so unless you want to just say off screen they could not resuscitate him and bring him back, and they lose him that way. But then again, will the fans be okay with that? Would they want him to go out fighting like Trini? I mean, it's going to really be hard because there's no tasteful way to do this, because then you'd have to bring him back to then write him to pass away. At this point, he's already shrunk. It's kind of smart to go fade him off this way now. It would be smart. but what could you center the story around? And you could only think legacy. And everybody wants to see JJ. It'd be weird to do that right after Trini, though. Because it's like, dang, like back to back. It just, I don't know. I don't know if that would be the right way to do it. Because we already know JJ is going to be there. Do you insert him now? And how old is he? They never really specify. He could really be like Min's age. It's possible. I got the illusion he was still a young kid, but she never really explained how old he was and if he was the only one. So they could bring a daughter in to be the new Green Ranger. That could work. And his daughter in real life, that would be real dope. But is that the direction you want to go so soon or now? I mean, what do? You know what I mean? How do you center? You already got revenge on Rita already. So how do you center this story unless you bring in a legacy character to kind of give you a point A to point B to develop the character out? I think at some point don't address it for the time being if they do a series. Give it about a year on his anniversary, then do a tribute episode, perhaps. Because I think that's the only other way to deal with it. Give people time to mourn, and you know, a lot came around it. There's no need to be involved. When people ask, say, oh, make no mistake, we will address it in the series, but for the time being, we kind of want to give the family, you know, some time, and then maybe we'll talk, and maybe we'll figure out how we can reach out to the family to see if it's time that we can make a tribute episode and what we may have in mind for it, because we'll have to figure out how do we address it. And then now you give yourself a lot of time the way they've written him off because he didn't want to come back to the series. Now, and it also works good for Austin St. John too as well, because he still has his legal issues. And depending on how that goes, they could just say they got to resuscitate him. Just the same as they can't say with Amy Jo Johnson's Kimberly Hart. They could actually say to do that and center it, maybe even have a story that comes from Tommy's past that the other Rangers will have to address for him or in name of him. And that could be a way to build a homage, be the beginning point to tell a story that maybe that you then incorporate JJ. Or whatchamacallit. And then off camera, if you could create a way in which somehow Cat could get a message from Tommy where he could pass maybe the dragon coin onto Jason like he did before. And then Jason will hold on to it until JJ's is of age. And that can be an episode in a Once and Always series where he passes the green dragon onto a young JJ, Tommy Oliver's son. Or maybe bring in his real life daughter and he passes it on to her at some point. And there's many different ways we can do this. And I think that Power Rangers can be creative enough that they can explore other ways of going about it, as well as paying homage to a lot of things that's within the lore already, maybe even touching on things in the comic book series, just as Easter eggs to the fandom to let them know we're aware and we love expanding this universe even further. But again, let me know in the comments below, what do you think a Jason David Frank tribute episode could look like, should look like, maybe would it look like? Leave it in the comments below. And you already know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time. And as always, to have a better outro. Chill.